Welcome to the Post Sports Chat. I'm Drew Rubenstein. I'm with Ed Owens, and we're on Mountaineer Field where WVU just blew a 11-point second-half lead to fall to Texas Tech 27-16. And Ed, on the season, WVU's now 3-4. Latest they've been under 500 since 2003. Let's first start. It was just kind of a weird game from the get-go. What does WVU take away from this one offensively?
Offensively, I think they take away that they did make improvements. There are things that are better. Dana, obviously the number one thing coming in was communication between Dana Holgorsen and Clint Trickett. Dana said the communication's much improved. It's something to build on. But, I mean, they have a lot of work to do, and I think that showed today. The offense disappeared late in the game when they needed it most. They couldn't stay on the field. I think Dana said 5 3-and-outs in a row. They just couldn't get anything going, and I think that has to worry them. At this point in the season, they really should be further along than they are right now.
That was kind of what I was going to lead into. I mean, out of the bye week, they were talking about finding their identity offensively and as a team. Did they find it?
No, I don't think that they did. And in the column I wrote in today's paper, I said what you see today is going to be what you can expect for the rest of the way. If that's true, I think they need to be worried right now because really they only threw for about 250 yards. They ran the ball better than they have in the last few games. But again, that disappeared later on too. So I don't think they're really doing anything great. They're doing a few things well and they're doing it in spurts, but they really need to be able to sustain it, and they haven't proven they can do that yet.
Mentally wise, where do you think this team is? Because they are 3-4, they're under 500, not where they want to be, but they probably have played most, if not all, of the better teams in the Big 12 at this point. They go toe-to-toe with Texas Tech after getting blown out. Is there any sense of a moral victory in this one?
I don't think any of the players or the coaches are taking moral victories out of today. I think they do realize, probably privately, quietly, that they have already faced the teeth of their schedule, that it will get easier from here. But I think when you're looking at that record, when you're looking at what you've done so far to this point in the season, there weren't too many smiling faces up there in the press conference room, and a lot of guys who are wondering what they have to do to really get this thing going in the right direction.
I'm talking to defensive coordinator Keith Patterson and some of the defenders. The one thing that maybe has to startle them a little bit is Patterson was talking about how they lost their swagger that they had the first 5 games of the season, where they were making plays through the first 5, but then Baylor kind of took it away from them, and then today when they really needed to step up in the second half, they didn't do it. Davis Webb comes in, throws for 462 yards. They did some good things early on, but where's the defense at this point?
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be surprised that they lost their swagger a little bit after that Baylor game. That was rough. I think that's about as morally deflating as it possibly could have been for them. I was actually impressed with what they were able to do, especially early in the game. The defense was kind of a bend, don't break thing. They were doing a pretty good job. There were a few times they got their backs against the wall. They came up with a goal line stop. They held them to a couple of field goals. They were doing a good job. I think the most disappointing, frustrating, however you want to put it, thing is that at the end of the game, and it's something Patterson said, they weren't able to get off the field. They weren't able to stop Tech on third downs. They weren't able to force any punts. They weren't able to get the ball back for the offense. Again, I think they did show signs that they are capable of doing things well defensively, but they've got a lot of work to do.
Last one, kind of where they go from here, mentally wise, I think is the biggest thing that you have to wonder. You mentioned they face the teeth of their schedule. I think we both agree on that, but they've lost 3 of 4, 2 blowouts, and now they're on the road for 3 of their next 4. Where do you see WVU going from here?
I don't think they're going to pack it in. I really don't. I don't think that's the mentality of this team. I don't think they're going to fold because of one loss here. And like I said again today in the column today, it wasn't that they had to win. It wasn't a must win. It was a must improve. I think they did do that. I think they showed signs of it. As frustrating as it is, as disappointing as it is to see them blow the lead that they had, especially as late as they held it, there's no reason for them to be too positive right now. I think when they go back, review the film, and start heading down the stretch a little bit, getting ready for Kansas State, getting ready for TCU, they're going to realize that those are winnable games, and I think they can get this back on track.
All right, very good. Thanks a lot, Ed, and please continue to check thedpost.com. Thanks for watching today.